Hi, and welcome to this latest video in a series explaining the law of attraction from eternalliberty.com. My name is Dan, and I want to help you live the life that you desire. Thoughts attract things. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Buddha. The mind is capable of extraordinary imagination and creation. Whenever you think or imagine with emotion, you emit powerful vibrations into the universe. To manifest your desires using the law of attraction, you must deliberately control your thoughts and align them to what you want. You must become aware in your conscious mind that every time you have a thought, you emit a vibration that causes something to be created in your world. Since all thoughts create something, we need to understand what all thoughts do. This chapter will explain in more precise terms what actually happens with every thought you have. We need to delve into some interesting physics at this stage. I make no apology for this because in many ways I need to unlearn some knowledge in you if I am to explain comprehensively how to use the law of attraction. Being the deliberate creator of your own life is not about observing changes in your outer world and choosing to be happy once your dreams are manifest. It is about choosing happy thoughts first that ultimately cause changes in your outer world and your dreams to be manifest as the effect of your emotions. This has as much to do with your subconscious mind as it does the law of attraction. This chapter will prepare you for the next chapter, which is the most profound learning in part 1 of this book, and is vital you understand this before we can start learning how to create the life you desire. All thoughts become things. Let us begin with the basics from previous chapters. We have seen that thoughts create vibrations, and your emotions power these vibrations. Every thought you have emits a vibration, and as you will see in this chapter, your vibrations affect your outer physical world. To be clear here, every thought you have emits a vibration. Think of it this way. A small pebble tossed into a pond immediately sets up a series of small ripples or waves, which spread out in circles on the surface of the water, travelling away from where the pebble landed. Take a larger pebble and toss it into the water, the larger the waves that radiate away from it. This is what happens when your thoughts emit vibrations. The more intense the emotional feeling associated with your thoughts, the more it is like the larger pebble tossed into the pond, as opposed to the smaller pebble. It is often said that the law of attraction, that your thoughts become things. What this means is that every time you have a thought, you emit a vibration into the universe that is responded by the creation of something real in your outer world. This chapter explains how. To repeat, all thoughts emit vibrations. You cannot toss a pebble into water and not create waves. Your thoughts always create something in the universe. Your thoughts, in effect, inform the universe what you want. Over 95% of the time, you are creating your physical world subconsciously to be the same today as yesterday. Yes, your subconscious mind is at work on your behalf. Your autopilot continues pointing your life in the same direction. Your thoughts attract other like-for-like thoughts, people, events and circumstances. When you have developed the understanding on how to apply this principle, you can be, do and have anything you desire. And the law of attraction is always working, and it is impossible to have any thought, positive or negative, that does not affect your outer physical world in some degree. You therefore have to learn to control what your subconscious mind is creating on your behalf. This is all achieved by managing your thoughts. Success with the law of attraction involves both stopping the creation of what you do not want and starting the creation of what you do want. This important concept we will cover in more detail over several chapters when we look at creation. For now, what actually happens in regards to the physics of all of this? Everything in the universe, in its simplest form, is made of energy. This energy is in the form of vibrations. When you break down anything and everything to its purest form at the subatomic scale, you will only find energy. Everything in the universe is energy, and everything in the universe is made from the same form of energy. Imagine small, imagine tiny, imagine microscopic, and keep going even smaller. The tiniest subatomic particles, which make up everything, are also found in everything. In other words, the subatomic particles which you are made of are also the same particles that make up your car, computer, house, air, aircraft, soil, rocks, and ice cream. These particles are just structured together differently to make different types of metal, mineral, plastic, or organism. This vibrational energy that all things are made of can vibrate at a wide range of different frequencies depending on the physical characteristics of the object in question. Everything in the universe, whether solid, liquid or gas, has its own distinct set of vibrational frequencies. The subject I described above is the basics for quantum physics. You can read more about it in any quantum physics book found in the library, or do an internet search of quantum physics or quantum mechanics. Whenever you look at anything, such as a house, a car, a computer, they are all in fact nothing more or less than an arrangement of energy or quanta. If these objects were to be inspected at the subatomic level, it would be apparent that they are not solid at all, but rather are composed of quanta of energy vibrating and moving at extremely high rates within the object being observed. Our outer world is nothing more than a huge collection of radiating vibrations and fields of energy, or stuff. It is like some gaseous cloud, of which the vast majority is literally empty space, structured in such a way that we observe people, experiences and events. We interact with this outer world through radiating vibrations we emit and receive. We observe our outer world through the human senses of sight, sound, touch, smell and taste that receive vibrations and convert them into people, events and experiences by the subconscious mind. So, the interesting idea from a law of attraction perspective is that when you want to manifest something in your life, then the stuff the universe needs to create that something is already there. It already exists. When you use your imagination to create something you want, then the vibrations you emit are really instructions asking the universe to rearrange stuff that is already out there. Your thoughts send out ripples into the universe like the pebble thrown into water, creating waves. You disturb the current arrangement of stuff in your immediate environment to create your outer world experiences. Physically, it is not that difficult either. If you send out a request to the universe to manifest something using the law of attraction, you are in effect asking the universe to rearrange this stuff into what you want. If you are like me, this seems easier to believe in, is more straightforward to understand than expecting the thing you desire to quite literally appear out of thin air. This idea is the start of understanding miracles. The stuff, the building blocks of what you want, is already out there and in abundance and waiting in abundance for you to give the command to create. The book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, goes into this in much more detail. This stuff makes everything and can make anything. The remainder of this book is quite literally how you mould this stuff into what you want and allow it to manifest in your outer world. You see, you are making things out of this stuff, even now. Being successful with the law of attraction is about learning how to stop creating what you do not want out of this stuff and to start creating what you do want by managing your thoughts. Importantly, every aspect of this energy that forms us is affected by all the energy surrounding us. We are connected to everybody and everything by energy and energy fields. Every vibration we emit is received by our outer world. Therefore, every thought we think does not only govern our behavior, it literally creates the world we experience around us. We actually shape our world and everything in it with our thoughts because their vibrational energy interacts with the vibrational energy in the world around us. We have always been doing this. However, most of this process is performed subconsciously in the same way all our bodily organs and functions are kept working. We do not realize we are doing this because we are not conscious of it. The vibrations you emit from your thoughts have so much energy they can travel huge distances. Light is a vibration and travels all the way to us from the sun in the center of our solar system. All thoughts are equally as powerful. Human brains vibrate according to whatever activity is going on in the mind. What are brainwaves? At the root of all our thoughts, emotions and behaviours is the communication between neurons within our brains. Brain waves are produced by synchronized electrical pulses from masses of neurons communicating with each other. Brain waves can be detected by sensors placed on the scalp. These waves are best thought of as a continuous spectrum of consciousness, from slow, loud and functional to fast, subtle and complex. They change according to what we are doing and feeling. When slower brainwaves are dominant, we feel tired, slow, sluggish or dreamy. The higher frequencies are dominant when we feel wired or hyper alert. The descriptions that follow are only broad descriptions. In practice, things are far more complex. Brainwave speed is measured in hertz, or cycles per second, and they are divided into bands delineating slow, moderate and fast waves. Infra-low brainwaves are thought to be the basic cortical rhythms that underlie our higher brain functions. Very little is known about infra-low brainwaves. Their slow nature makes them difficult to detect and accurately measure. So few studies have been done. They appear to take a major role in brain timing and network function. Delta brainwaves are slow, loud brainwaves, low frequency and deeply penetrating like a drumbeat. They are generated in deepest meditation and dreamless sleep. Delta waves suspend external awareness and are the source of empathy. Healing and regeneration are stimulated in this state, and that is why deep restorative sleep is so essential to the healing process. Theta brainwaves occur most often in sleep, but are also dominant in deep meditation. Theta is our gateway to learning, memory, and intuition. In theta, our senses are withdrawn from the external world and focused on signals originating from within. It is that twilight state which we normally only experience fleetingly as we wake or drift off to sleep. In theta, we are in a dream, vivid imaginary, intuition, and information beyond our normal conscious awareness. It is where we hold our stuff, our fears, troubled history, and nightmares. Alpha brainwaves are dominant during quietly flowing thoughts and in some meditative states. Alpha is the power of now, being here in the present. Alpha is the resting state for the brain. Alpha waves aid overall mental coordination, calmness, alertness, mind-body integration, and learning. Beta brainwaves dominate our normal waking state of consciousness when attention is directed towards cognitive tasks and the outside world. Beta is a fast activity, present when we are alert, attentive, engaged in problem-solving, judgment, decision-making, focused mental activity, integrating new experiences, high anxiety or excitement. Continual high-frequency processing is not a very efficient way to run the brain, as it takes a tremendous amount of energy. Gamma brainwaves are the fastest of brainwaves and relate to simultaneous processing of information from different brain areas. Gamma brainwaves pass information rapidly and quietly. The most subtle of the brainwave frequencies, the mind has to be quiet to access gamma. Gamma was dismissed as spare brain noise until researchers discovered it was highly active when in states of universal love, altruism, and higher virtues. Gamma is also above the frequency of neuronal firing, so how it is generated remains a mystery. It is speculated that gamma rhythms modulate perception and consciousness, and that a greater presence of gamma relates to expanded consciousness and spiritual emergence. We will learn later in the book that the power of the human imagination responds better according to the type of brainwaves that dominate our thinking. You are the result of your thoughts, yours, and only your thoughts. You have somewhere between 60,000 and 70,000 thoughts per day, every day. Yet, it is estimated 95% of your thoughts are the same as yesterday. We usually have the same thoughts every day due to our subconscious, habitual ways of thinking. More on this shortly. You have the ability to concentrate your conscious mind on whatever you decide. You have the ability to imagine something you want and something you do not want. You have the ability to think about memories as they originally happened, and to recreate memories with different outcomes or endings as you would prefer them to be. You have, as a human being, the ability to direct your own thoughts. Most of all, you have the ability to create new thoughts using the amazing ability of your human imagination. The law of attraction never tricks or deceives you. The universe responds precisely to your vibrations. The hardest thing that you are required to do is take 100% responsibility for your life, and the rest is easy to learn. For a few days, try observing your thoughts. Do you worry? Do you think about things you worry about? Thoughts about things you do not want to happen, what you are afraid of? Or do you normally think of wonderful things happening to you in your life, This is what you are attracting. By entertaining predominantly happy, positive thoughts now, then you are creating a happy, positive future. Your state of mind now creates your reality in the future. You can attract whatever you want into your life: wealth, health, happiness and love. And you can attract situations and events that you do not want. We are using the law of attraction consciously and subconsciously all the time. We are creatures of habit, our own habits. Habits are actions we take repetitively because we believe we will feel better after taking action. We may or may not feel better after taking the action, but we believe we will. We drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes habitually to feel better. Habit grows out of our immediate environment, out of doing the same thing in the same way over and over again, out of repetition, out of thinking the same thoughts over and over. And when once formed, it resembles a cement block that has hardened into a mould in that it is hard to break. Habits and habitual ways of thinking are formed subconsciously. We all have habitual thoughts every day based on running old programs constantly in the subconscious mind. Have you ever caught yourself complaining every day about a colleague at work, a relative, or the government? The vast majority of these 60,000 or 70,000 or so thoughts we have each day are habitual, and every single one emits a vibration into the universe, this stuff to create our lives. Habits usually form out of limiting beliefs we develop in childhood. How often do you say to yourself something negative like this? Things have always been like that. Or, I knew that would happen. Beliefs are just a set of the same thoughts we repeat over and over habitually. Limiting beliefs literally limit our lives and control us. If I asked you, what is easier to do, make $1,000 in a day or lose $1,000 in a day? I'm fairly confident a vast majority will say lose. This is an example of a limiting belief. A limiting belief is a false belief that a person has acquired and frequently results in drawing an incorrect conclusion about something negative in their life and often against all logic. For example, a person can develop a limiting belief about his lack of abilities to succeed as soon as he fails. More often though, they develop as a result of experiences in early childhood and become instilled in the subconscious mind. How often do we say in conversation that something is too hard or that it will take time? Just notice in the next couple of days how often you affirm that something is hard or challenging. We spend so much time talking about what does not work that we miss the whole point, namely that we have the power to create something that does. What do we study? Diseases, problems, disasters of the past. We name charities after diseases, not cures. What do we prepare for? Emergencies. We love to sink our teeth into problems and ask, what's wrong with me, or him, or her? Every wrong or bad thing, which in reality is nothing but somebody's opinion. Every opinion or belief has a flip side. Abundance is a flip side of lack. Sickness is a flip side of health. Both sides are correct. Both exist. Both are true. By choosing to see one aspect, the other equally likely aspect is hidden. But it is important to realize that the other side, the positive side, is just as real, and that at any time you can simply flip it over. We looked at adopting the right attitude to every event or circumstance in Chapter 1. All events and circumstances have a negative side, and on the flip side, a positive side. We will be happier always by choosing the positive flip side. The reason why many of our thoughts are devoted to things we would not choose or do not want is because it is the world's default setting. The world's default setting sees news about floods and earthquakes, hears stories about your second cousin's drug addiction and says, "See, what did I tell you?" If you consider every single possible event happened in the world each day, and then look at what appears on our TV news or in newspapers, it is actually abominable. Our news is full of crime, war, disasters, disease and poverty. For what reason or benefit? Let us take being broke, for example. Most of us can agree we do not want to be broke. So what do? We devote our minds to avoiding it. We work long hours. We read books and articles about getting rich, fully ignoring the fact that by trying to get rich, we are devoting our minds to the idea that we are not actually rich. The news and media bombards us with stories of people losing their jobs. Consequently, we decide in advance to be broke. Have you noticed just how much in the world is about you receiving vibrations in the form of education, news, media, entertainment and pleasure? How much in the world is about the effect of your thoughts on the immediate world you live? Next to zero. We are bombarded with vibrations of negativity about so-called life in our world. We receive these negative vibrations mainly in the form of images and sounds. It causes us to seek pleasures to override the negative default settings the world exhibits, and when we take these pleasures to excess, we need medical remedies to cure the after effects. We spend money on pleasure such as drinking, smoking and overeating. Then we spend money on remedies such as medical pills, prescriptions and insurance. All the time, the rich people who own the banks and companies that supply these pleasures and remedies continue to make even more money. Equally, all the time, the media is telling us and constantly reminding us that it is not yours or my fault that life is the way it is. This is another way of hiding from you the fact that you do have the power to change your world with your thoughts and vibrations. It is as if the world does not want you to know this. It is difficult to prove that society is trying to control you, but it is almost certain that it is. It is next to impossible to override the world's default setting, at least theoretically. There is another way, and it involves working on your own mind. It involves doing what the world does not tell you, which is to use the power you have within your mind. If we simply devote our mind to feeling rich, to being grateful for all that we already have in our lives, say our families and wonderful friends, the feelings we habitually have of being broke would gradually disappear. We would only experience being broke because we devote our thoughts to it. This is how powerful our minds are. If you want peace, think of peace. If you want love, think of love. If you want a Ferrari, think of a Ferrari. Do not think about how peace looks impossible, or that love seems fleeting, or there's no money in your bank account. Keep your mind focused on what you want. If you wish to know how strong your ability is to think, consider this. You can be physically trapped in a prison cell in absolute inhumane conditions, and yet the one thing you are still able to do is think with your own mind. You can even imagine you are free. There is not a single human being who can stop or interfere with your ability to think or imagine. You alone control your thoughts. We cannot blame anybody else. Our ability to think is the only true freedom we have in the world that we alone control. Managing your thoughts and feelings. Ask yourself right now, in an average day, which thoughts and feelings dominate my mind? Be honest with yourself. If the answer is positive thoughts and emotions, you are going in the right direction. If the answer is negative thoughts and emotions, you must change. You are heading in the wrong direction if you wish to be happy and prosperous. How do I change? The first step, decide to make that change. Be resolute and final about it, then take action. We are going to spend much more time on this very important topic later in the book, but it will benefit readers to introduce some concepts now. There are numerous actions you can take from being negative to being positive. If you are very strong-willed, then you can just decide to do it, and that works for some people. At this point in time in my life, I can actually do this. If I am feeling a bit down and I want to change my state, I say to myself, I choose to feel good right now. I say this over and over until I feel good. As I keep saying this, thoughts of feeling good usually enter my mind. I think of smiling and laughing. I think of positive events. I think of a great beach holiday or great music. I continue doing this until the momentum of the thoughts take me to the point of really feeling good. In other words, just putting your thoughts on what feels good in your life can change your state of being. And keep doing it till it develops into a habit. You will be happier. After that is achieved, everything else becomes easy. It will become much easier to manifest what you desire with a positive attitude, a happier emotional state. As we said as early as chapter 1, choose to be happy. Choose happy thoughts. You are the result of your own thoughts. The main reason you do not yet have the things in life you desire is because your thoughts have been attracting the things you do not desire. It does not matter whether we think about something we do want or do not want. We attract the sum of what we think about. If we are to use the law of attraction to our advantage, then we must only think about what we want. The problem is that it is all too easy to think about things we do not want. When you are able to deliberately choose to be happy or to reach for the best feeling possible, then you will be able to manifest your dreams. For many, this may seem difficult at first. The good news is that it becomes a lot easier with practice. Every thought you have emits a vibration, and every vibration you emit into the universe creates something real in your outer world. This process never stops because the law of attraction is always working. Everything in the universe, when broken down to its simplest form, is made of vibrational energy. In other words, our outer world is nothing more than a huge collection of radiating vibrations and fields of energy, or stuff. Whether it be paper, wood, metal, or gold, it is all made up of this same stuff. When you want to manifest something in your life, then the stuff the universe needs to create that something is already there. When you use your imagination to create something you want, then the vibrations you emit are really instructions asking the universe to rearrange stuff that is already out there. It is, however, estimated that 95% of your thoughts are the same as yesterday. We usually have the same thoughts every day due to our subconscious habitual ways of thinking. So we create the same things every day, which is why life seems to be the same every day.